Hello. um, well, I just, I watched Kim Iverson's video, um, about why she left the Hill. I'll give some background, like for people not familiar. Um, so the Hill is a it's an online publication. They have online print and video, and their main video is called The Rising. I don't know if I'm, to my knowledge, I don't think that's it, you know. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe they have some other show too, but mostly they have The Hill Rising. And so, during like the last election, um, the Rising was constituted by Crystal Ball, legit named Crystal Ball, given name, and Sagar Anjeti. So she was a, Bernie Bernie babe or whatever, and he was like a Trump cook, I guess, or a Trump trooper. So, but it was like an emphasis on populism, and I believe that they're owned by a Republican or by Republicans. Could be wrong, but I think I've heard that. Um, and I think Crystal either is or was married to a wealthy, I don't know, I think maybe a wealthy Republican or some kind of wealthy guy. She had run for office one time, I guess, as a populist progressive. Um, so anyway, they were, they were like one of the better shows you could say of that time. They helped break like the Tara Reid story. They interviewed Katie Halper. Um, so yeah, I think their interview of Katie Halper was the first real like broad publicization of Tara Reid's story. Um, like because Katie Halper had discussed it. She had interviewed Tara Reid on her own uh, little um, podcast, like legit podcast that was just audio. And previous to that, Ryan Grimm had written an article about it, about um, Tara, that didn't focus too much on the allegations, but more focused on the fact that the Move On organization had blacklisted or blackballed her and wouldn't help her because she was accusing, uh, you know, their darling Biden, and so and just opened up the fact that like that whole organization was actually like seemed to exist to protect predators, if anything, and was run, or one of their top lawyers, I believe, was um, had helped Harvey Weinstein with damage control after his whole thing. So, but he claimed that like the actual accusations against Biden themselves didn't merit an article because they were just one person's claim. Um, so, but at least I guess he got the ball rolling to where at least it was he exposed that she did have this story, and then Katie Halper did her interview, and then the Hill had Katie on to talk about it, and the Hill did have Tara on, but I think that might have been came later. So like they were for a while they were my go-to just because, I didn't agree with them on everything. Some things they seemed too moderate, but they were like the best you could kind of find on YouTube for like somewhat populist left, and or I guess it was a mix of left and right, but a lot of times the focus would more be on the left and like, you know, basically Bernie bro type stuff. So it was up my alley, and but eventually like it got so I guess it was too like the people who own it got too controlling over it. So Crystal and Sagar left, and because they were the show, it was their show, they left, and they started something. I don't know. I mean, I think I might have been done with them already by that time. I can't remember. Like, I mean, by now I'm like done with them, either over COVID or over the election or something. Like they showed me that they sucked, that they were shills, and so I stopped following them and everything. But even the Hill like was too like corrupt even for them, so that's saying something. So then they reconstituted the Hill with Rising with Ryan Grimm, who ended up being pretty much of a shit lib on a lot of issues and pretty much of a shill, especially regarding like force the vote. With he was um, and kind of, yeah, just like trashing the kind of radical leftists and the populist left in a lot of instances, and with a lot of disingenuous narratives. And so like I never like really watched it anyway, but like the only times I watched it was sometimes then they got somebody named Kim Iverson on there, and and you know she, oh yeah, I think, and then they had Briana Joy Gray, who was Bernie's press secretary in the campaign. But then like I was done with her like pretty quick because I think it was because of her approach to COVID or something like that, or the vaccines, or maybe something else. Maybe it was about Rittenhouse. I don't know, but some stupid shit she said. And but Kim Iverson was pretty based. Like she was good on a lot of the COVID stuff and vaccines, or at least much better than everybody else on that show. And so just whatever shows that she would talk about that type of stuff would be pretty popular. And it seemed like The Hill was making kind of a comeback with her, even though all the other people on the show like sucked and everybody hates them. um, but then they just recently, like the other day I guess, or a week or two ago, or I don't know when, they decided to interview Fauci, and they were like mealy mouthed about like how it went down, but basically they wouldn't let Kim Iverson interview him, and they were only letting the like moderate shit lib people, whatever, uh, talk to him. So like and Kim said that up until then she had always had free reign there, and so when they wouldn't budge on that, she walked, and she's like just doing her own thing now, and probably took a lot of people with her. And now like every video they have, like they have almost no videos. I don't think they have, I'm not sure if they have any videos since she left that has broken like 100,000 views, and there's only a couple that broke like 50,000. So there's like nobody's watch, like most of their videos have like 3,000, like 2,000 views or 3,000 views or something. And every video you click on, every comment is like telling them off and saying like y'all fucked up and you shouldn't have done that to Kim Iverson. And um so it's interesting to watch. It's amazing YouTube, like all these like shows and stuff where every comment is saying, like, every comment is basically skeptical of the vaccines. Every comment is, against Fauci and all this. And yet these shows continue to like shill. Like they just don't give a fuck about their viewers at all. And so anyway, it's kind of amazing. Um, I was watching this thing. How clicked back just because of this stuff, just to look through their stuff and see what they had to say about COVID and everything. And Katie Halper was one where she was somebody I was a big fan of, back in the day because she broke the Tara Reid story, and I thought like, wow, she's so brave. But she went like 100% into. She loved Fauci. She would like beam. She would like swoon and talk about how great it was to see Fauci on TV, and how and Cuomo, how great it was when Cuomo would get on TV and talk sense to America about COVID and everything. And so I was already done with her for a while, but now she's been on this show on The Rising. And it's funny when they were interviewing a guy, and he was talking about how, I mean, he was still basically pro-vax or like not anti-vax, but he was not. He was saying like he didn't. There's nothing wrong with the jabs or whatever, but he was still saying like that the Democrats and the Faucists like fucked up by like calling everybody an anti-vaxxer who even had any dissent from any aspect of the narrative. And as a lot of the commenters pointed out, like Katie Halper was like shamefaced when he was talking about this because